auto layout with table views is pretty much the same as basic auto layout, but there's a few things to know. So first, make sure that you add auto layout to the table view itself, not just the table view cell. So you can see how this is getting cut off here. That's not just because the cell is getting cut off. In fact, the table view is not stretching to the full width of this iPhone 4. So first thing, click on the table view, and then it's going to be 0 margins all the way around. So you just want that table view to stretch to however big or small that phone is, or even if you flip it. If you flip the phone, it goes into landscape mode, then you want the table view to be snug always. So once you do that, then it's all about configuring the internals of the table view. So the thing about table view cells is that you want the cell to grow and shrink with the height of the content. And because of that, you have to do one more extra thing. So in the image view, as before, I do add the top and the left, and this is a poster. So the poster, I don't want to change the dimension. So that's all kind of as I would do before. And here I have blue, which means that it's happy. But the way that it calculates dynamic height of this cell is, imagine like a trash compactor. It starts at large, and then it starts to crush it down like this until there's just some rule that's forcing it to be at a certain height. And so here in this case, it's actually just going to keep on crushing like a trash compactor. And so there's no rule that's going to prevent it from shrinking. So what you do is you take this image view here, and I add a bottom constraint to it. And you can just leave it at that default. We're going to actually change it later, but I'm going to add that constraint. So now, because of this bar right here, you can imagine it as just, it's a bar that's stopping the trash compaction. So this allows it to grow and shrink. However, there's something that happens with table views pretty commonly, which is that the thing that's defining the bottom of the cell, it depends on the content. So for example, in this case, the way it's set up here, so I'll make this 0, but this label, if it's very short, then the thing that defines the height of the cell is the image view. However, if this synopsis is really long, then the label is the one that determines the height of the cell. And so the way that you handle this situation is you click on the bottom constraint here, and you want it to make it a greater than or equal to constraint. And then, by the way, I'm also going to change this from 30.5 to, say, whatever I want that bottom padding to be. So I'll make it, say, 10, right? So it's not going to show up as 10 here, but when it runs, as long as this is an inequality constraint here, then this will compress, so this is 10 away. Then what you do is, for this label, once you add its constraints here, so top, left, top, right, and then I'm going to add a constraint here at the bottom, but then I'm going to click on this again, and I'm going to say that this should be, say, 10, just like the view. It can be any value, but let's say it's 10, and then again, greater than or equal to. So they can't both be equal to, because that will calculate to a different value, right? So if this is equal, let's say this is equal to 10 and this is equal to 10, those rules wouldn't be able to both be applied, so it would kind of fail. So it has to be an inequality constraint here, always at the bottom. So that's the number one reason why, your table view height isn't working properly, is that you don't have a bottom constraint from one of your views. Then if you click on the table view and then click on properties here, or this ruler icon, if you put a static height here, or if you put a static height in code, just clear it out, and then that way it'll become automatic row height, which is what will cause it to be different row heights. So that's all you need to know about applying auto layout with table views in particular.